Welcome back, everybody, to another Sunday Swings. We have some great markets this week, so let's get right in. First, we have AUD NZD. It is super extended, so I am thinking that we could expect a retracement. I mean, just look at the weekly. It just keeps on going up and up. And this is basically like catching a falling knife if it were to go to the downside. So this is basically the inverse. But considering that the daily chart just shifted from bullish to bearish, last week we had this bearish candle, we have this small formation. I just think that this is a very high risk but possible trade, especially in the last few weeks. The high risk trades often were the ones that actually had the move, while the nice A plus setups just didn't have the moves. CAD JPY, this is also a very high risk trade. I think we can expect a wick fill on the weekly. We rejected from this area, but I think that looking at this smaller area of interest, that we can just have some move to the downside. What's also possible is that we could have something like this, maybe this kind of inverse head and shoulders is also possible. This will also match with Euro JPY, which I'm expecting to go to upside. So this is also possible. This was my first, I guess, idea for this market. But I do think that this kind of inverse head and shoulders retest and then the move to the upside is also very possible, so I'll leave that there. Then USD CAD, I took this trade last week. Nothing really happened. Just a lot of movement, but in no particular direction with some real movement. I took this trade Tuesday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and held it until Friday, like 10 minutes before the market closed. So this has been, I guess, a waste of time. I would have held this over the weekend, but I felt like I wasn't in as much profit for me to hold it over the weekend, because it might just gap down, and then also with rollover and everything, I just didn't feel comfortable to hold this. But now I am expecting one of these two moves. This here was my first idea. If we look at the weekly, we just created this weekly doji. On the daily, we are at this area of interest, super strong area of interest. And I mean, this is kind of a double top. So it would make sense if we reject from this area of interest right here. If we break below this candle, we would shift bearish on the internal, I guess, structure, because obviously we are overall still bearish, and I wouldn't count this internal shift of structure, but I think it's worth to mention. So my first idea and real idea is to take this trade to to the downside from below this, I guess this area right here, this or this area. If not, if we do break above this area of interest, then I'm also interested in taking buys to the upside. But I just think that one of these two moves has to happen, and I am interested in seeing what move happens. Then the next pair, Euro GBP. We have this huge head and shoulders, I guess shoulders, head and shoulders. We had this huge bullish move to the upside, which might be a sign for us to continue with it to go to the upside. I mean, we have this choppiness and then this huge break to the upside. But we are bearish on the daily, we are bearish on the weekly, we are retesting this neckline of the head and shoulders. We're at the daily EMA. We are not bullish because this didn't close under this candle right there. 4 hour obviously is bullish, so it would be great for us to have a shift of structure right here. I don't know if we are going to get a shift of structure on the 4 hour because this would take some time. But any shift of structure on the lower time frames, 30 minute, 1 hour would be enough. And then have an engulfing, a bearish engulfing to the downside, and then I'm in this trade. Yeah. Then Euro JPY. I am interested in taking this to the upside. We had this bullish engulfing on the weekly, bullish engulfing on the daily, bullish engulfing on just bullish engulfing this pair. We're above this area of interest now, and I am interested in taking buys once we get a retest from this area. We are bearish on the daily, on the weekly as well, but I do think that the structure suggests buys to the upside. This is also the neckline of the head and shoulders. Yeah, looks pretty good if you ask me. And then Euro NZD. This looks also pretty nice. We have this head and shoulders here, had the move. Yeah, now a few weeks of nothing really. On the daily, we had some movements. We created this area of interest, and now we broke above it. And honestly, this trade looks pretty phenomenal. We are obviously bearish on all these time frames. Yeah. However, I think this looks great. We have this area of interest, broke above, now with the retest, and then have the move to the upside. This head and shoulders actually looks really great. But that's in the past now, and now we are trading this to the upside. And we do get the daily EMA at our area of interest, which is nice. And we have the EMA on the weekly also as a support. And once we get to this area right here, then maybe we also get the 4 hour EMA, which is nice. Yeah, I think my favorite pair is, I like USD CAD. I also like Euro GBP, even though this was a quite strong move. Euro GBP, Euro JPY also looks good. Euro NZD, all these Euro pairs. I mean, these two pairs are high risk, but I just think that they will happen the fastest. And these pairs all look pretty good. Yeah, and that's it already. I hope you liked it. I hope you learned something. If you have any suggestions for improvement in my Sunday swings, please let me know. And see you guys next week. Bye.